It is a fiasco that will cost taxpayers at least £40 million and almost certainly a lot more. It wiped almost £250 million off First Group's value today. Ever since August, the government has been staunchly defending the process they'd used to strip the West Coast train franchise away from Virgin and hand it to First Group. Sir Richard Branson called the decision then insane. They implied he was just a bad loser. Now, with his court challenge fast approaching, they've suddenly found significant technical flaws and scrapped the deal and suspended three civil servants. Our political correspondent, Michael Crick, has this report.
Virgin Trains were to hand over to First Group just 2 months from now. But late last night, the Transport Secretary slammed on the brakes. Today, as he spoke of unacceptable mistakes, Patrick McLaughlin's department suspended 3 civil servants, 2 of them senior.
I spoke to Richard Branson late last night and took him through what I was going to do. You know, we've got to learn lessons from what is basically a completely unacceptable situation that we find ourselves in.
Naturally, I was quite shocked, bitterly disappointed after all the very hard work that my team put in, knowing that we had a good bid, a bid that would have helped the users on the line, would have put more people on the line, would have been the best bid for the taxpayers. So we were really gutted, as you would expect.
Virgin's run the West Coast mainline since winning the first franchise in 1997. But last year, the government invited bids for a new deal to start at the end of this year. And this August, they awarded the franchise to First Group. Virgin said that decision was preposterous, so went to the High Court to block it. With the court hearing just 2 weeks from now and the deadline for evidence tomorrow, Patrick McLaughlin scrapped the whole process. And yet, only weeks ago, ministers told Virgin to stop whinging.
Virgin raised no concerns with that process until it emerged that they had lost the bid. I have a huge amount of respect for Richard Branson and indeed for Virgin, but we have to go with the best bid for taxpayers and we have to go with the best bid for passengers, and the First Group will deliver that.
Transport is not a happy department, having lost a quarter of its top staff in the cuts. Last month, Justine Greening was moved after less than a year, so Patrick McLaughlin became the 3rd Transport Secretary since the election. And Philip Rutnam, here, the permanent secretary who greeted him, the 3rd in that top post in the same time. But for Labour, the failings go wider.
What can you say about a government that is so incompetent that they can't even get the awarding of a franchise right? It is a disgrace that it is going to cost £40 million and perhaps more of taxpayers' money because they have so bungled this franchise.
This decision doesn't just raise questions about the government's overall competence, but also the whole future of the rail franchising system. And it's bound to encourage those who've long argued that franchises should be scrapped and that the railways should be renationalised. What's more, those fighting the planned HS2 route from London to the north today said that's based on the same bullish passenger figures behind the West Coast deal. Yet more problems for ministers about to book trains to the Tory conference in Birmingham this weekend. Virgin Trains, by and large,